What's going on YouTube? It's your boy John B. Coming back to you guys with a brand new haircut tutorial. So today I'm doing a mid-high bald fade with a 6 on top. But the difference that I'm doing in this video is that I'm going to be using the Andis Master Fade Blade on my wall clipper. And if you guys are wondering how I did that, I got my mod from Filthy Blends. Shout out to my boy JV, it was actually his, but we traded. And yeah, it works pretty dope. So this is actually my first haircut that I'm using the fade blade with it. So first I'm knocking it off a number 6 on top, and then I use my octanes and start with a number 2 and create my first base. So for the bracket, you're actually gonna need to use a senior blade or a wall balding blade, and then you slap it on with an Andis Master blade or an Andis Fade Master blade. So after that, I usually use my clipper over comb just to get its shape down. Then I'm going to use my Babyliss trimmers. These are usually my balding clippers because they're really strong and they get the job done without really getting stuck. So let's start the fading process. I'm using Wahl Magic clip with the Fade Master blade now. The fade blade. Not the regular blade, the fade blade where you actually have to change your stroke so you don't nick people. So like I said, this is my first time using it on this clipper. So I first start with my guideline open and I set my first guideline. Then I snap on the number 1 double magnetic Andis guard, and I go all the way up, but not going in. You can see I'm going straight up, just because if you dig in too much with these clippers and this blade, that you're gonna just make a huge mistake. And then I usually just close the clipper with the number 1 guard on still, and I go right below the top of my first guideline. Then I'm gonna use the clipper with no guard just to buff out that bottom line. But as you can see, it just raised it a little higher. That's why I started lower, just in case. But I knew because of having the fade blade, it would be a little bit to adjust to it, just because I haven't used it in so long. But as you can see, I'm using the half guard and I'm just buffing that line out, using the corners, whatever it takes to get those dark spots out. And then I come back and I use my no guard and I just slightly tap that bottom line, because with the fade blade you can't really go too fast, because you're gonna end up, like I said, jabbing a client, making them bleed, cutting them, whatever. So you gotta really take your time, and they're so strong that you don't really have to go crazy with your stroke. Now basically I'm just putting in touch-up work at this point, and then once I put in the lineup, you'll see how crazy this blend could turn out. So the reason I balled out last is because it gives me more space and room for error when you can bald out that bottom line. That way you don't bring the bald line too high. As long as you tap this phase right here, as long as you tap it like I am right here, you'll be straight. So moving on to the lineup, I do want to apologize. I guess I was not recording when I first made the lineup, but this is me still doing it. I just missed the beginning of it, but you can see there's some parts of his hair sticking out on the side of his head, but don't worry, we get that at the end when we shape everything. But as you can see, I'm using my Babyliss Fx trimmers, but my hitters are actually my slim lines. So I like to use both just to make sure they get a clean lineup. And when you do lineups, try to brush as much as your hair down, just so you can get the extra hair, because once they go home and they shower, they have all that hair sticking out. I'm gonna do this other side. Steps are gonna be different, but the concept is still the same. you're just gonna do the bottom last. I'm basically gonna be opening my clipper with my magic clip, and I'm gonna be blending that line first and then blend downwards. Another thing here I wanted to point out, you see how the blend doesn't look its best right now, but wait till I finish. And once you put in that lineup, because I did not pre-line up this haircut like I do in my older videos, but I still recommend you guys doing that just because you see the fade come out nicer, and it's just a better way to fade in my opinion. So just watch me put in this lineup. So at least I got to record this part of the lineup, but you see these are my hitters, my slim lines, and I'm really taking my time, and I'm honestly not pushing as hard just because they're so sharp, and I don't want to like bruise or damage my client's skin. But this dude is pretty straight, like he doesn't have sensitive skin at all. He actually has a really clean lineup, and a lot of like people might think I'm using enhancements in this haircut, but I'm actually not. His lineup is just really strong like that. And you just gotta let the clipper do his job. Now moving on to the razor. I'm pretty much using derby blades, I believe, in here, or it was either derby or persona. I'm basically just finishing up the haircut. As you can see, that blend is pretty solid. And remember, when you razor, just remember to pull the skin. He doesn't have sensitive skin, so I know that I can use dry shave it. But like I said in previous videos, if you do not know if their skin is sensitive or not, you might as well just slap on some water or shaving gel. And that's pretty much the final result. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy John B, and I'm out.